Ontario Premier Doug Ford just promised realtors they'll get back every single penny of their missing commissions from the iPro Realty collapse. But there's a problem. The insurance company handling the claims warned last week there isn't enough money to cover everyone. We're talking about over 1,500 realtors who are missing commissions, some waiting on $10,000, others waiting on $100,000. And it's been months. This isn't a small story about one bad brokerage. This exposes how the entire real estate regulatory system in Ontario just failed. Let's break down what happened, who got burned, and whether these realtors will actually see their money. Here's what actually happened. In August 2025, the Real Estate Council of Ontario, RECO, revealed that $10.5 million was missing from iPro Realty's trust accounts. That shortfall dated back to May. 11 days later, on August 25th, the courts froze iPro's bank accounts. Just like that, hundreds of realtors couldn't access their commissions. iPro Realty Ltd, based in Ontario, had its account frozen by court order after regulators discovered the trust fund shortfall, the largest in RECO's history. Think about that for a second. The largest trust fund shortfall ever recorded by Ontario's real estate regulator. And the regulator knew about it for months before they shut it down. Now, here's where it gets messy. A law firm called Dentons Canada investigated how RECO handled this whole situation. Their report was brutal. The report criticized the former registrar's decision to let the brokerage keep operating for months after learning about the shortfall. So RECO knew the money was missing in May, but iPro kept doing business. Deals kept closing. Commissions kept piling up in those accounts. And then everything got frozen. Realtors who closed deals with iPro or worked with other brokerages that cooperated on iPro transactions suddenly found their money locked up. No access, no timeline, just waiting. Let's talk about who got hit. More than 1,500 claims have been received since October alone. That's not the total number of affected realtors. That's just the claims filed in the last 2 months. The actual number is higher. Carolyn Curran, a realtor who's been organizing the affected agents, said people in her group are missing between $10,000 and $100,000 in commissions. For many of these realtors, that's their livelihood. That's rent money, mortgage payments, car payments, business expenses, and it's been sitting frozen since August. Now, here's the insurance problem. Alternative Risk Services is the company managing the claims process for iPro Realtors. AR Services posted a public notice on November 28th, warning that commission amounts being claimed by iPro agents appear to exceed the available funds. The insurance program has $4 million in coverage, but the claims are way higher than that. So even with the insurance payout, there's a shortfall. And the timeline? AR Services warned realtors it could take 6 to 9 months for payments to start flowing. That means some realtors might not see any money until spring or summer 2026, almost a full year after the freeze. On Monday, December 2nd, Doug Ford spoke at the Ontario Real Estate Association's annual conference, and he made a big promise. Ford said, "My biggest concern is get that money into their pockets. If we have to cover them, these people work their backs off. They deserve their commissions. We're going to cover each and every single agent that's owed every single penny." The crowd probably loved hearing that. But here's the catch. Nobody knows how Ford plans to make that happen. A spokesperson for the Ministry of Public and Business Service Delivery declined to clarify what Ford was actually promising. The ministry just said they're examining all options. Stephen Crawford, the minister who oversees RECO, walked back the promise a bit on Tuesday. Crawford said, "We're going to go in there and take a look and see what we can do to the best of our ability to ensure that agents are paid as much as possible." That's very different from every single penny. So where would the money even come from? Alan Silverstein, a lawyer who helped create the insurance program nearly 30 years ago, floated a few possibilities. The government could backstop the payments temporarily, then go after RECO to reimburse taxpayers. Or RECO itself could tap into its reserves. Or, and this is where it gets controversial, contributions from the rest of the real estate profession could help cover the shortfall. Carolyn Curran, the organizer for affected realtors, said her group has been in contact with Ford directly. They held a protest at Queen's Park on Friday. Curran said, "We're after 100% commission repayment." I do believe he's sincere. He said he's going to help us. But sincerity doesn't pay the bills. The question is whether the political pressure will force action or if this becomes another promise that gets delayed, watered down, or forgotten. The provincial government isn't just dealing with the iPro fallout. They're taking over RECO entirely. On Monday, Jean Lapine, chosen by Minister Crawford as the administrator for RECO, took control and dismissed the board of directors. That's a complete overhaul. The government lost faith in RECO's management after the Denon's report exposed how badly they handled the iPro situation. Lapine posted a message promising to keep realtors and the public informed. RECO also released a statement saying they're prioritizing the commission protection insurance claims and working toward a swift resolution. But realtors have heard promises before. What this shows is that the regulatory system failed at every level. RECO knew about the missing money in May. They let iPro keep operating. The trust fund shortfall grew. And now over 1,500 realtors are stuck waiting for their money with no clear answer on when or if they'll get paid in full. As of right now, December 2025, the situation is still unresolved. The insurance company says there's not enough money. Ford says everyone will get paid. The new RECO administrator is just getting started, and realtors are still waiting. The broader issue here is trust. If you're a realtor in Ontario, you work under a brokerage, and your commissions go into trust accounts managed by that brokerage. You're supposed to trust the system. You're supposed to trust the regulator. But this entire mess shows that when things go wrong, the system doesn't have your back. The market is already tough enough with rates where they are and inventory fluctuating. The last thing realtors need is to close deals and then not get paid because the brokerage and the regulator both failed. Everyone's watching what happens next. If Ford follows through, realtors get their money and the government figures out how to fund it. If he doesn't, this becomes a political nightmare heading into the next election cycle. And for the realtors, they're still waiting. And that's why this story matters. Not just for the 1,500 realtors who got burned, but for anyone in Ontario's real estate market. If the regulatory system can fail this badly on the largest trust fund shortfall in its history, what else is broken? I'll keep tracking this as it develops. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Ford will actually make these realtors whole, or is this just political talk? I'll see you in the next one.